Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren,
And I'm Cheryl.
and this is your behavior tip of the week. Our topic for today is engagement.
So I think with engagement, we have to really start with what is meaningful learning, right? So engagement has some parts. So we have to remember that engagement is multifaceted and it's characterized by three parts: behavioral, emotional, and cognitive engagement. So behavioral is going to be things like attendance, having what you need, coming prepared. And of course, we want high participation in class, right, Lauren?
Absolutely.
Then there's the emotional part, which we hope they like school or have some kind of interest in it. And then lastly is that cognitive piece where we're hoping that they put forth their best effort and how we can help them to do those three things, right?
Absolutely. So let's look at some ideas. And these are just some tips, some ideas to get you started. This is by no means a comprehensive list.
Okay.
Lots of ways to get your kiddos engaged. But let's look at some of these ideas. So using a microphone, sometimes just having that voice that carries over might gain their attention a little bit more.
Maybe some fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes maybe using silly voices. And I know a lot of times we think that might be like a more elementary thing. But even in our upper middle school and high school classes, sometimes that is something, maybe they'll even jump in and be a part of it. Definitely can be engaging.
A little bit of roles.
Yeah, absolutely. Also incorporating movement. And this is something, guys, that even as adults, we need. Movement is valuable, and movement can incorporate the academics that you're doing, or movement can be a time where they step away from the academics. Movement can look lots of different ways, but I think using that and incorporating it, especially those of you that are sitting with students for a long period of time and having that ability to kind of break up your day.
And part of engagement too, right, is accessing that brain, and movement lights up different parts of our brain. So
Absolutely.
I think it kind of connects really well. Okay.
For sure. Also using games and manipulatives. So you can see the example over there on the right is the math fact Jenga. That's just one example, but thinking about how you can play different games or do different activities that your students are familiar with, but incorporate the academic factors into it. And then anytime they're using manipulatives, again, activating different parts of their brain, making them think a little bit outside of the box are all great ways to increase that engagement for your students.
I like those.
Using fun attention getters, and our suggestion is consider changing these up, right? We don't want to use the same one all year long. There are a ton out there, guys. If you Google attention getters or classroom attention getters, there are all kinds of fun ones out there. But examples, 1, 2, 3, all eyes on me, and then students say 4, 5, 6, our eyes are fixed.
Oh, that's kind of cute, Lauren. I like it.
And then another example, head, shoulders, knees, and toes. And then they respond, everybody freeze, and they get to pick a fun pose or movement for that specific time.
So I think if I had to go back into the classroom, Lauren, I think I would say something like Avengers, and then they would be like assemble or something cool like that, where I could use my knowledge of the superheroes. Okay.
And that goes right into our next point about incorporating interests, right?
Okay, cool.
So knowing your students, knowing what they like. So if you have a class with a lot of fans of superheroes, or maybe that one who you're trying to get their attention is super into superheroes, using something like that, but incorporate their interests. Even when you're doing academic tasks, finding ways to tell them how this could relate to, maybe they really like football, and you're talking to them about the math and how that could relate to football, right? Just one example, but thinking about their interests. And when Cheryl and I were talking about engagement, I think the most important conversation that we had is you need to have your individual relationships with your students and think about those small group relationships with your students, and the relationship you have with your students above all else is really going to impact the level of engagement, because who do you want to learn from? Someone that you know cares about you, someone that you care about, someone that you enjoy spending time with. So if you do nothing else, just spend that positive time with your students, getting to know them, doing that follow through and making sure they know you care.
Absolutely. And we're going to end with a little quote that's really, really important, something to hopefully allow you to reflect a little. Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I learn, involve me and I remember. And that's by Benjamin Franklin.
All right. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Bye.